talk about a TED Talk about leadership. I had this amazing opportunity to be in charge of Solo Ensemble, which is where a bunch of kids from around our district come and sing in front of a judge to receive a score. And so there needs to be pianos in the performance and warm-up rooms. And so I had to make this map of the whole school, showing like where the performance room is and where the warm-up room is, because people don't go to the high school and we all know it's already confusing. So for newcomers to come in, it's just crazy. So I made this map of the school saying where the performance rooms were and the warm-up rooms, so hopefully nobody would get lost, but you know there'd be a couple kids that just couldn't figure it out, which is pretty easy. And so I had 4 extra rooms on the map, 2 performance rooms and 2 warm-up rooms. So then we were like, oh my goodness, we need more pianos. And the piano guy was only told that he needed 11 pianos. And so he started freaking out, like, oh my goodness, I don't have enough pianos. Mr. Bushy, you only told me I needed 11. And so he was freaking out, and like, it was crazy freaking out. So he's on the phone calling Bushy, and Bushy's on the other end being like, yo, man, it's okay, like, we're figuring it out. And we figured it out, and it was my mistake, and I had too many rooms, which was okay. And so I think that was the biggest thing. Like, I admitted that I was wrong, and I made a mistake. But they still loved me for it. Like, did Bushy yell at me? No, he was like, it's okay, like, we all make mistakes. And it wasn't that big of a mistake. We put the rooms back together because we had to deconstruct them so people could perform and warm up in them. And we just didn't have enough pianos, but then it was fine because then we did, and that was like, and it was an okay mistake because we all make mistakes in life, and I think that's the biggest thing, is that we just want to be forgiven for them, and know that you can never achieve greatness if you don't make mistakes along the way. This is one of the biggest things that I've come across in my life, is between a boss and a leader. A boss is someone that sits there and is like, do your work, and oh my goodness, and when they come into the workplace, it seems like everybody cowers because they're afraid of making a mistake or afraid of doing anything wrong because they're going to get yelled at. They may lose their job, and it's just really scary and intimidating. But then you have a leader who is amazing and just goes with the people and says, like, let's charge on and let's get work done and let's be the best we can be. And a leader is somebody that raises people up and doesn't push them down like a boss would. So you would always want to strive to be a leader, but yeah, there are going to be those bosses out there in the world, and we just hope that they're not as bad as they are. So here's a look at what the high school teachers and students have to say about being a leader and what some attributes are for leaders.
A strong leader is someone that's passionate and helpful and organized.
Okay. What makes a great leader? Being tall. Look at George Washington, the head of our country. The only reason he was there is because he was 6'3".
I'd say what defines a leader is his or her actions and what they do and how they show their behaviors and how they inspire others to get things done.
What in a leader is someone who is very relatable, someone who encourages you to work, and just someone who will be there to work with you as a team.
Can take a job and run with it, who sometimes thinks outside of the box and gets everybody motivated and gets the job done. And even if they don't, be proud of themselves for what they've done. So I think a leader is one that inspires.
I would argue that a leader is only as strong as their facial hair. Examples, you ask? Stalin, Hitler, Angela Merkel, Obama before 6 a.m.
A leader is someone who can lead a unit in a positive way.
I think what makes a good leader is somebody who leads with a lot of passion, somebody who realizes that their position isn't to be number one or to be kind of like the boss, but their job is to reflect light onto those that they're leading, to put the power in their hands. They're supposed to be compassionate towards those that they're working with. They're to be trusting and have good communication, and they are supposed to lead with such courage that everyone underneath them feels confidence just like they have.
I don't think Obama's.
What makes a good leader? A good leader must speak many different languages. если ты хочешь быть на руководство, надо говорить на другой языке. Это очень хорошо.
Thing I think about, and Mr. Schrock encourages all the assistant principals to think about, because there's a difference between being a leader and a boss, or a leader and a manager. And just last week he sent us something about leadership and management, and it's hanging on my board, but so is this little thing that I even have up there to remind me that I'm supposed to be a leader and not a boss, and there's a difference. And some of the things that I think about that means something to me from this is, a boss is someone you're afraid of. Like, you don't want to get your boss angry, but a leader inspires enthusiasm. So we're going to do all that testing in a couple weeks. No one thinks it's fun, but I don't want people to be afraid, I'm going to screw up and Margaret's going to be mad. No, we need to get enthused. It's testing. Let's do it. Let's give our kids the opportunity to show what they know. Then talking about a boss that says, I want you to, as opposed to, we all need to get this done. A boss would kind of use people, and a leader develops them and makes them better at what they do. A boss is someone who's going to take all the credit. I did all the testing and everybody did it, or we all got the testing done and all the 11th graders finished. And the difference between saying go do it and let's go, and those are just things I actually have posted here and I think about as much as I can.
So as you can tell, some of those videos were kind of funny and some of them were not about what makes a good leader. But you could see from there, Mrs. Adrian said some really good attributes of being a great leader. What defines a good leader? You have optimism, which I said already, is that if you just keep like pushing your people to the ground, they're going to hate you, they're not going to like you, and they're just going to be so down on themselves, they're just not going to look towards the future or be optimistic about anything, which is really what you need to get things done in the workplace. Another is trust. With running Solon Ensemble, I had over 50 volunteers here helping me out because I could not do it all on my own. And they trusted me to just be there for them, and especially if there was this crazy choir mom, like frantically running up to them, asking, like yelling at them, they knew that I would be a phone call away to come help them, because dealing with those frantic choir moms is not fun. I will let you know there are some out there. So please never be a choir mom like that. But so they really just had to trust me and like know that I was there for them and like I wasn't gonna let them down, which is a really big thing. But trust also can go the other way too, because you want to put trust into the other people too. Empathy is also a really big one too. Like one of the biggest things is that you want to be able to look at the other point of view. Your volunteer may be saying something else that you don't agree with, or maybe you just need to hear the other side of, and you just have to sit there and listen to it, because they could be smarter than you never know. And so you just sit there and you absorb what they're saying and really think about it, because they could be right and you could be wrong. But as a leader, you have to have that optimism and just let them go for it, and you just have to be there for them and just be comforted. That's one of the biggest things about being a leader. And last but certainly not least, peers and leadership is such an amazing, wonderful thing that you have to always look at. I was voted to be vice president this year of Acapella, and it's been such an amazing experience. And one of the biggest things that's changed is I've had a lot of work to do, which has been like putting stickers on binders so kids know that binder number 56 is Lou Bizio's. So that's one of the biggest things. But it's really hard sometimes because my friends don't see me as a leadership position, or they do, and then they think I'm just this crazy woman that's coming after them. But like little do they know that like I have like their best interests at heart, and so I'm just trying to make the choir run smoother and trying to make sure that my president, Jillian Brennan, is okay and that it's all running great. And that's a really big thing, because not only does the leader have to respect the peers, but the peers also have to respect the leader, because if they don't, the leader's not going to get anything done, and then they're not going to have any respect or trust or optimism, because all of that's lost when nobody has like that communication between the peers and the leaders, because just nobody respects each other, and that's one of the biggest things about between peers and leaders. So this concludes the end of our TED Talk. I hope you learned something and enjoyed it. I hope you